It is August 21st, 1871, and there's this man hiding out in a really secluded Italian summer house.
Right, and to be clear, he is definitely not there on vacation.
No, definitely not. He is, running this covert, high-stakes intelligence operation for the Pope.
Which is just wild to think about.
It really is. He's attempting to install, over 100 powerful regional leaders without tipping off the public or the press. But if you fast forward exactly 10 years on that exact same day...
Yeah, that same guy has just completely vanished from the political arena.
Exactly. Instead, he is hanging out with a bunch of teenagers at a summer retreat. So today, for our deep dive, we are opening up a 14-year time capsule.
I love this framing.
Yeah, it's so interesting. We're looking at a stack of historical excerpts tracking one really fascinating individual, Don Bosco. And we are looking at his life on the exact same date, August 21st, across a span of 14 years from 1871 to 1885.
It is just a remarkable way to analyze a life. By using this 14-year, diary entry frame, our mission today is to decode his strategies.
Yeah.
We are going to explore how a leader operates at this incredibly tense intersection of high-stakes political intrigue on one hand and grassroots mentorship on the other.
Because we don't just see what he was doing, right? We actually get to tear apart the mechanics of how he managed his influence from the absolute top of the power structure all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack this, because the sheer density of secrets packed into just one single day in this man's life is, well, it's staggering.
Oh, absolutely.
We have to start at the top of that power dynamic you just mentioned. Before we can even understand Don Bosco's public legacy or, his work with those teenagers, we have to uncover the covert political operations he was running behind the scenes.
Right, the stuff that no one was supposed to see.
Exactly. So let's open this diary to the first entry, August 21st, 1871.
Setting the physical scene here is crucial to understanding the paranoia and the stakes. He is at a private villa near Nizza Monferrato, and the sources refer to it as a casino, which in the 19th century Italian context, it just simply means a secluded country house or a summer residence.
So no slot machines.
Right, no gambling. It was owned by Countess Gabriella Corsi, and he is there on a grave, highly confidential mission entrusted to him directly by Pope Pius IX.
And when you say a grave mission, the sources use some incredibly heavy religious terminology here.
They do, yeah.
Which we probably need to translate for anyone listening who isn't, steeped in 19th century church administration.
Good call.
The texts say his mission was selecting candidates for, quote, vacant Italian sees. Now, a see is essentially a seat of power.
Right.
What we're really talking about here is Don Bosco being tasked with vetting and appointing over 100 regional church leadership spots.
Which is massive.
Think of these powerful governorships scattered all across the region.
That translation is spot on. And to pull off a mission of that scale, he couldn't do it alone.
No, definitely not.
The sources note he was conferring with vicars general and capitular from throughout Italy and Sardinia.
Which again, jargon.
Right, so stripping away the jargon, these were local deputies, they were informants, regional advisors, basically the people with their ears to the ground in these local districts.
And this is where I just have to look at the logistics of this and marvel at the difficulty.
That's intense.
Put this in modern diplomacy terms. Imagine a modern president using a remote, off-the-grid location to secretly vet and appoint an entire presidential cabinet, plus 100 state senators.
Wow, yeah.
And doing it without ever tipping off the press. I have to push back on the reality of this, though. How does one guy vet over 100 leaders in absolute secrecy in 1871?
That's a great question.
There are no encrypted emails. There are no secure video calls. This is a massive, highly sensitive HR operation happening entirely through physical, in-person communication.
Well, the physical reality of it is exactly why the political intrigue is so high. Don Bosco chose this incredibly secluded summer house owned by the Countess, specifically to avoid public suspicion.
Oh.
If he had held these meetings in a major city or, a prominent church building, the public and the political factions would have immediately known something was up.
I'd be all over it.
Exactly. The fact that he isolated himself tells us he was operating as a strategic intelligence gatherer.
So he is basically running a safe house.
He absolutely is. He is relying on that vast network of local deputies to travel to him quietly.
in secret.
Right. Imagine these informants having to coordinate their travel, slipping out of their respective regions in Italy and Sardinia, making their way to Nizza Monferrato, and just arriving at this villa unnoticed.
That's like a spy movie.
It really is, and they were bringing him detailed, highly sensitive intelligence. They were essentially building massive dossiers on every single potential leader for those 100 vacant spots.
They couldn't just guess. If you were appointing 100 regional governors, you need to know who has hidden political alliances, who has gambling debts.
Who has the right temperament to handle local crises, yeah.
Exactly.
It shows an incredible grasp of high-level diplomacy. He had to navigate an incredibly volatile Italian political landscape, synthesizing all this raw intelligence from his deputies, cross-referencing it, and making decisions that would shape the power structure of the region for decades. And he had to do it all while keeping the operation entirely invisible.
Wow. Okay, so he has just engineered this massive top-down power structure. He is sitting in this villa in 1871, playing out the future leadership of the Italian regions in his head.
Right.
The natural assumption is that he would spend the next decade managing those 100 power players.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Right, like he would become a permanent, shadowy political power broker.
Yeah.
But if you look at the source for August 21st, 1881, exactly a decade later, he just completely abandons the elite political arena.
It is a total pivot, and it forces us to ask why a man with that much institutional power would shift his focus so drastically.
Let's look at what he's actually doing. It is August 21st, 1881. We are at San Benigno Canavias.
Okay.
Don Bosco is not meeting with covert informants. He is presiding over a spiritual retreat for 163 young men who are aspiring to join the Salesian Society.
Talk about a change of pace.
Right. He has gone from appointing the equivalent of regional governors to running a summer youth retreat.
But you'll notice in the sources that he hasn't lost his diplomatic instincts.
Really?
How so? Well, he might be at a grassroots retreat, but he's still maneuvering. While he is with these 163 young men, he sends a telegram to the Vatican.
That's right.
It is Pope Leo III's 10th name day, the Feast of St. Joachim.
Right, and the cable Don Bosco sends is very brief. It reads, quote, "Salesians gathered on spiritual retreat, and their pupils rejoice on your name day." On the surface, that just sounds like a polite Happy Name Day text message.
Yeah.
But if you think about the mechanics of what he is doing, the public relations brilliance of this is undeniable.
Oh, totally. Let's break down why that is.
Well, the telegram was like the instant high-tech communication of the 1880s.
The internet of its day, yeah.
Exactly. It's fast, it commands attention, and goes straight to the top. By sending that specific message, he is taking these 163 young, unknown, grassroots students in a small town, and he is connecting them directly to the Pope.
Which is huge for them.
It's massive.
Yeah.
To put a modern spin on it, it is the structural equivalent of a middle manager at a global corporation tagging the international CEO in a public LinkedIn post about a local intern's project.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, accurate.
It instantly flattens the hierarchy. It forces the absolute highest power to acknowledge the absolute grassroots.
That is an excellent way to look at it. He bridges the gap. It elevates the students, making them feel seen and valued by the highest authority in their world.
Which builds incredible loyalty, right?
Exactly. And simultaneously, it gently reminds the Pope of the boots-on-the-ground work Don Bosco is doing.
A little humble brag.
Sort of, yeah. It's a subtle way of saying, hey, remember those 100 leaders I appointed for you a decade ago? Well, I am currently building the foundation that those leaders will eventually stand on.
Wow. He is literally networking for these teenagers.
He is.
Which brings us to the next diary entry, where this focus on youth and foundational building gets even more pronounced. We only have to jump forward 3 years this time to August 21st, 1884.
Okay, where are we now?
We are at the Oratory, which is his community for students and young artisans.
And the context of the calendar year is really important here. Summer vacation time is approaching.
Right.
The students and artisans are about to leave the structured, highly supervised environment of the Oratory and just go back to their respective homes and neighborhoods.
Which means they are about to be surrounded by entirely different influences. So Don Bosco gives a General Assembly address.
Yeah, the sources call it a goodnight talk to the community.
Right. And his core message relies on a quote from Proverbs chapter 15, verse 3, which is, quote, "The eyes of the Lord are in every place."
Okay, so he's setting a standard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He uses this specific verse to emphasize that these students and artisans must maintain their spiritual duties and avoid sin, even when they are far away from the oratory for the summer.
He is attempting to internalize their behavior. I mean, when they are at the oratory, they have rules, they have supervision, they have a routine.
Yeah, they have structure.
But when they leave for the summer, all that external scaffolding falls away. By quoting Proverbs and emphasizing that the eyes of the Lord are in every place, he is giving them a moral compass to pack in their suitcases.
I like that, pack in their suitcases.
Yeah, he wants them to self-regulate when no one from the oratory is watching.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
I look at this timeline, this 14-year August 21st diary, and I see a massive tension between the macro and the micro.
Oh, for sure.
Like, why spend your time reminding a bunch of kids to behave on their summer vacation when you are the guy who literally staffed 100 power seats in secret?
Right.
Why is moral guidance for local youth treated with the exact same weight on the exact same date as high-level global diplomacy?
Because I think Don Bosco realized that installing leaders doesn't matter if you aren't training the generation that replaces them.
Well,
Grand political maneuvering like what we saw in the 1871 entry at the secluded villa, it means absolutely nothing if you don't have strong moral foundations at the bottom.
because the institution would just collapse under its own weight eventually.
Exactly. The secret appointments he made in 1871 provided stability for the present. They were a necessary, pragmatic response to a complex political climate.
You had to keep the lights on, basically.
He had to keep the institution functioning, yeah. But the moral guidance of those young students in 1881 and 1884, that secures the future.
Right.
If he only focused on the high-level politics, playing the power broker in the shadows, the institution might survive the decade. But it would rot from the inside out within a generation.
Because the people filling the ranks wouldn't have the character required to sustain it.
Exactly.
So the 1871 operation was about controlling the environment, but the 1884 speech was about controlling the culture.
Got on.
He knows that true power isn't just about who holds the governorships today. It is about the internalized character of the artisans heading off for summer vacation tomorrow.
He is balancing the macro and the micro perfectly.
But doing that, carrying that dual burden of top-down secret missions and bottom-up youth mentorship, that has to take a profound toll on a human being.
Oh, without a doubt.
You can't live at the intersection of those two extremes without something giving way. What are the tangible results of that effort, and what is the physical cost?
Well, that brings us to our final diary entry.
Yes, it does. We jump one last time to August 21st, 1885.
And notice the shift in the source material for this final snapshot.
Right, because this entry isn't about what Don Bosco is actively doing or saying.
No, not at all.
It is a progress report written about him and his work. Father Joseph Lazaro writes a letter to Bishop John Cagliero. And Bishop Cagliero is stationed all the way in Argentina.
I just want to let the geographic scale of that sink in.
It's massive. Just look at how the scope of this diary has exploded. In 1871, we were looking at highly localized, closed-door meetings in a villa in Italy, where people were sneaking around just to talk to him.
Absolute secrecy.
Right. Now, 14 years later, in 1885, detailed progress reports of his daily work are being shipped across the Atlantic Ocean to a bishop in South America.
His influence has literally gone global.
Exactly. The institution he was quietly building in that summer house is now operating on an international level.
And what does Father Lazaro's letter actually report to the bishop?
It provides two very distinct updates that perfectly encapsulate everything we've been talking about.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, Lazaro notes that Don Bosco's health has been feeling, quote, somewhat better recently. Which immediately makes me pause. If a major highlight of a global report is that he's feeling somewhat better, how terrible was his health before this?
That's a really good point.
How utterly exhausting must the previous 14 years have been, balancing the demands of popes and the moral crises of teenagers?
Right. The physical toll of that kind of leadership is, rarely documented in the grand historical strokes, but it is entirely visible in a micro-level diary entry like this.
Yeah.
The exhaustion is the price of his dual strategy.
And the second update in the letter is about the general state of the oratory. Father Lazaro reports the successful conclusion of the school year, and he highlights a very specific metric.
What's the metric?
A record 180 First Holy Communions.
Wait, look at that number in the 1885 report, 180 communions. It just clicked for me how perfectly this ties the timeline together.
Oh, you mean from the year before?
Yes. That isn't just a random administrative statistic to pad out a letter to Argentina. That is the direct, measurable result of the speech he gave the year before on August 21st, 1884.
You mean the goodnight talk about packing their moral compass for summer vacation?
Exactly. When he stood up and quoted Proverbs, telling the students to maintain their spiritual duties even when they were away from his supervision, that wasn't just empty rhetoric.
Right.
We often wonder if leaders actually have an impact when they give those kinds of speeches. Well, the 180 communions in 1885 prove that his grassroots mentorship actually stuck with them when they left the building.
Wow.
It is the tangible evidence that his moral guidance worked.
He actually changed their behavior.
Yeah.
He successfully internalized the culture he was trying to build.
And when you look at these 4 dates together, the 1871 secret meetings, the 1881 telegram, the 1884 speech, and the 1885 report.
That's all connected.
It is. These diary entries ultimately tell a beautifully cohesive story about how to build something that outlasts you. You successfully build an institution by navigating the intense, paranoid political intrigue at the top, like vetting 100 leaders in secret. But you only ensure that institution survives by simultaneously nurturing the moral character at the absolute bottom.
Which we see culminating in that record number of communions.
Exactly.
It's the toll of never neglecting the small things, even when you have been entrusted with the biggest things. And, that is exactly what I want to bring back to you listening right now.
It's a great lesson.
Think about trying to organize 100 confidential interviews for your company today, even with all our modern technology. Think about the stress of that.
I'd rather not.
Right. Now think about stepping away from that stress to go talk to an intern about their weekend plans.
That's a huge gear shift.
It really is. When you look at your own life, your own career, your own spheres of influence, where are you spending your time? Are you only focused on your own secret missions?
It is very easy to get caught up in the 1871 phase of our lives.
It's so easy.
The high-level networking, the career advancement, the strategic maneuvering to get into the rooms where the big decisions are made.
We all want to be the person the CEO trusts with the confidential dossier.
Naturally.
But are you balancing those high-level moves by providing that moral guidance and mentorship to those coming up behind you?
That's the real challenge.
Are you making sure the junior staff, your own kids, or the people who look up to you are getting the time and attention they need to build a strong foundation? Don Bosco didn't see these two things as mutually exclusive.
No, he saw them as two sides of the exact same coin.
Exactly.
If we summarize the core takeaway from this 14-year timeline, it's that true, lasting influence requires a mastery of both spectrums.
Right.
It requires the top-down diplomatic savvy to navigate the world as it currently is, and the bottom-up grassroots care to shape the people who will eventually inherit it.
You have to do both.
You can't just be the political strategist hiding in the villa, and you can't just be the mentor running the youth retreat. To build a legacy, you have to find a way to be both, even if the physical toll is immense.
Which brings us back to that time capsule we opened at the start of this deep dive.
Full circle?
We had the incredible luxury of looking at one man's life on a single date, August 21st, over the course of 14 years. And what we found wasn't just a list of random events.
No, it was a perfectly balanced blueprint for leadership.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Combining the heaviest burdens of power with the simplest acts of mentorship. So I want to leave you with one final thing to ponder as you close this out and go about your day.
Let's hear it.
If someone were to pick a single random date in your life and look at exactly what you were doing on that specific day over the course of the next 14 years, what overarching story would your diary tell about your true priorities?